We'll just move everything into folder. We'll start from scratch. Okay, let's create an index.html file. Then I'll make it go live. Before that, I'll just add some doc type HTML template. So in HTML, we'll have these basic components, head and body. So let's go there. I'll put it side by side just to compare. So now in the head, I'm going to add the title. It's coming as this, right? Let's add a title, which will be like something like your name. Just see, it's updated, and we will add the definitions. That's how we add title. That's next thing. In the content, we will add some header information. Let's put it as header. Inside this, we will have the title, just your name. We'll have a subtitle. But this one, we will style it a little bit better once we have the structure of the document ready. Okay. Something like a description of what we're doing, we will put in main tag. We will discuss these tags in HTML. Some content I'm adding, dummy content. And then at the end, I'm going to add a footer. So this is the title, other information. This is actually the body. And then at the end, I'll add a footer. I'll add a paragraph that says copyrighted to something. Right. Basically, for copyright symbol, we can actually do something like this. Ampersand, copy, semicolon. The symbol is all the copyright. So this we will discuss when we are discussing HTML in a later lesson. If you go through HTML tutorials, there are some standard set of tags like this, which will be evident. So copyright, something like copyright your name, and could be something like your email. Let's say I'm going to add your email here as so for this, I'm going to add href as mail to. So if I'm putting mail to as a protocol, it will open mail and I do. So this mail to actually means if I click on this link, it has to open my mail client and send an email to this email address. If I click here, it will open up my email. So it will ask me which email you want to open up and all that. You click on this and it will create a new. So, okay, after this, we will add some navigation links, let's say your social media links. So we will put it in the list of social media links, which will have a list item and a link to your say YouTube, and this will go to your YouTube channel. And this YouTube text, we will replace it with some icons in a few minutes. So each of these list items, I can put it in a single line. That's to copy. Let's put it as YouTube. You have your website, or Twitter. The Twitter name goes here. Facebook, Instagram. What else? And that should do. So that's about the navigation. And then in the footer, for this, we will style it a little bit more. But before we style, I think we should put these things in a division. We'll put a background around this header and image. So I'll put a division around here. So why I'm doing this division is I'm going to give a background image to this. On behind this, there will be some image coming, and this name will come on top of that image. So for that, so I'm going to give a class name. It's better to give a class name and then background. And this entire content from division main, I'm going to put this entire thing at the middle of the page. Even if I expand the page, it will not overflow into the left side or right side. It will stay in the middle. Is what I'm going to do. So for that, I'm going to center that. So this entire content, I'm going to put it under one division. And these divisions, I'm going to style them separately. So this division, I'm going to give a class name and content wrapper. That's good enough. And let me give the body tag and class name as well. So this signifies that I'm in the home page. If we have page specific styles, we can apply to that. Okay, now we have the main content. Let's go to the styles, create new styles on style.css. With styles.css. So I'm going to include that in the head section of this page. So that will be a link relation is style sheet, and itself is going to be /styles. So if it's do one thing, we will put this styles.css in a folder called CSS. Link it to workflow CSS. And we will use CSS slash dot slash CSS. We don't have to use this dot slash if you're using relative paths. It's in the current folder, it will search in the current folder. Okay. So let's style these elements. First thing I'm going to do is for the content, I'm going to give a background. For this entire body, I'm going to give a background. Let's create a search for language. Get that. So let's go to try. Yes, I'm going to use where for this entire page, I'm going to take that background and see how it looks. Background, choose URL. Okay. And the content is black. We should change it to white in that case. So for this body element, all the content, I'm going to change it to white. Now all the content has been changed to white, but this background doesn't look good. Let's change it. This looks better. So this styles, the names and everything, we should change to a better version of it. Let's change that. So for styling these elements, we will need to have custom fonts. The default font is Times New Roman, if you see. Compute pair, you see. And font family is Times New Roman. but we can change that. Let's go to Google Fonts. We can change that to something. There is some font called Caviar. Yeah, this is looking nice. Let's use this. So we'll end at this. Let's so this one we need, not this one. Let's search for yeah, like this one. One with this one. Let's copy this code and put it in index.html to include this font in our web page. We should use this styling wherever we want to use this particular font family. So for font family like this, we are going to use the entire header section. So for all the header elements, we are going to use these. For H1, H2, we are going to use that. Even for H3. For H1, H2, and H3, we are going to use this font over here. Font weight, we don't need. So we will just copy this. Font weight also we can put as something important based on how much bold we need. 100 will reduce the coolness a little bit. Default H1 will go to 700 if not set. So our 400 would be fine. It's a little like this. So this font is looking nice. So let's try changing the font size. Okay, let me one is too small, 1.5. Font size, I think we should only change for H1, not for H2. H1 font size and change to bigger. H2 will still too smaller. It's 5. Let's put it 5. That looks fine. H2 we will change the font size to 1.5. Let's see. This is also fine. So that's fine now. I want to center all this into the middle, so I will just try to use this wrapper class to move it to the middle. So I'm going to use margin top as top and bottom as 0 and left and right as upper. And we have to specify the width in order to take this into effect. So I'm going to specify max width as 900 pixels. Expand this. That looks good. Let's comment out and see how this looks. This is to the left. Now we can change it. Yes. Okay. So I think the reason why this is not allowing me because of my resolution. Let's change it. My resolution is zoomed out. Zoomed in. Now if I get back to this, okay, we will just go back to the personal resolution. Let's revisit later. For now, let's continue. The content is getting repeated. If I have this background is getting repeated, so I will just change the background to okay. Repeat. So it will only cover the body. It shouldn't. Let's adjust this. We need to not in the body. We have given the background URL in the home section, so we should put it in the home section. to the syntax error, we have to add a semicolon at the end. It's not repeating, but it's not covering the entire space. We will have to change that. Let's add it, try to add it here. Let's see. So this one, from position, size, background size, cover I'm going to use, which will change the entire size of the background to fit into the size of the division that we're using. Copy this, putting it here. This covers the entire body of the element. Now let's go back to this. To the body height, we will set it to 100%. This body height. So this has to cover this entire space. I'll change the height to 100%. But relatively, style of this HTML should go. I'll put this as HTML and body both cover the entire 100% space. And we now have body. For this, let's try to change the background color and see how it looks. The gray color, something like F6. Doesn't love it because the background is overriding this color. I'll set margins for this. This only try to figure out the best approach. It's only experimentation. We have to fit in what fits. We have to weigh in what fits, what doesn't fit, and figure out the rest. And these fonts are fine in this screen, but in the actual screens, because I'm zoomed in, it looks like that. I go back to the original resolutions. These fonts don't look. I have to increase the font size. Let's go back. So usually the font size metric is done. Some standard calculations we do, we will calculate the font size as 16 pixels by default. So let's do something like set the font size. Pixels. This, this size has to be increased. The body, let's add font size. Basically, this rem calculation depends on the font size of the root element, which is the HTML element. So if we have gained 16 pixels, 16 into 1.5 it will do, and it will calculate that one. So the gap between these two lines, we have to increase. Line height. Let's give to and that is too much. 0.5, point two is too little, and 0.5. The line height is the space between these two lines. So for h1 to 0.5, this has become smaller because we made the font size as 16 pixels. So this we need to increase. Let's see, 5 run. Let's try 7. It's too big. Let's try different resolution. This should be fine. Now this looks nice. The font size 7 run I kept for h1. This size also need to increase. We will do that. And this gap also we can reduce with line height. It's a 2 run 2 times. 2 is good. We can go with 1. 1 is also good. Let's try 0.5. Let's try 0.7. 6. Let's come back a little later. And leave it at 8, 0.8. And this one should also increase. The size of this also should increase. So let's try H2 now and increase the font size. It's now 1.5 RAM. We'll try to see 5 is good. 5 is almost looking like this. So let's increase. More looks okay. 3.5. Yeah, it's fine. So now what else we need to do? The footer. This footer we will take care. And this we have to center it. We will do that. Okay. Let's go to the footer. If I go over these, let's change the color of them. Let them be in different colors. Colors, text color, I will use something like red. Name of another number is 6. Okay. One is at noted number CAA6. Looks okay. That doesn't look good. Let's try these. So fine for now. So on hover of these, I want this color to change. But, on hover, let's change the color to something like C. Let's see how it looks. Okay, okay, nice. And this one, I want to make this as icons instead of text. So for that, I'm going to use icons. Okay, icon. Just use. This time, I'm going to use the image source. This. So size is too big. We have to change the size. So we can actually specify the width of it or height of it. Let's say it's 10 maybe. Let's see how it looks. And it's too small. It's too 50. Too big. Let's give it 20. 32. It's fine. So one thing I'm going to copy over to other places and just change the floor. This list styling also we have to change. It has to come like to the one after the other because this is a block element. This is coming from uh, top to bottom. So we'll change the alignment with flex box in a bit. And this image I'm changing to I'll just change it to creative. So that we have to use these are copyrighted images, but for demonstration I'm showing these images. We should actually use images that are not copyrighted or easily available, freely available. And this one is a but so the best practice is to use alt text for all the images. If you have means alt should be YouTube icon. So if the image is not available, let's say for example some string, for some reason, if the image is not displayed, the alt text will be shown. So if I don't have the alt text and the image is not found, it shows like this. Doesn't have any information what it is. So it's always better to have alt text for every image. Zoom it a little bit. Do that clearly. So alt text will help us understand what this image is. Twitter icon. This is Instagram. That's it. Now we will have to align these to the right, but we will have a footer color added. This footer has to actually go to the bottom of the page, not stay in this place. So all that we will do now. Let's try adding the footer styles. So we have footer. Footer, we will add background color as black. Just add 222, just a shortcut for 2222. So color ranges start from features where the color ranges start from 0000000 to FF. So 0 to 255. Each color component, RGB components, will start from 0 to 255. So we're actually choosing 2, which is nearer to black, kind of brown. So that's why it's coming as black. And here in the footer, I'm going to choose the color for text as something like T3, T4, T6, somewhere in between. I can change this to a footer color. Let's see why this is not that color. So this has been overridden by this color component that we decided. So this is more specific tool. That's why it's taking preference over what we defined here. So let's try removing this, and this color is white. Let's add our color. 3, 4, 6. And the color got changed with this text. These things we have to make them all the way to the side of each other. So let's change this. This unordered list where we can give one class name and make the size of it as display as flex for this. So I'll give class name as reference. For this, I'm going to use styling. So we have learned that list. This is an unordered list. We can actually change the disk, this image, the bullet point style with list style type. Let's change that to none. We don't want the bullet points to be shown. List style type. Socials. I think this should be dot. So now this has changed to styles. No bullet points shown. So this time we have to make sure that this is shown side by side, all these list elements. So I want to change socials. Each list item in that should display as inline. So what we learned is block elements will occupy the entire space of the width of the web page, whereas inline elements come side by side. So let's change that to display inline block. So within that inline element, the display will be block. Inline block is another combination. It looks like this. And we will also change the spacing around here by defining the margin. Let's say 10 pixels. Okay. Now we have the spacing. So instead of styling this height here, we can actually put the style in the image here. Let's try putting that here. So fields, image, with as 32 pixels. How we can remove these height. The size didn't change. I come this part. The size of it will be the original image size. So I'm changing the style with here. I can move from studio. Whatever image we use, whatever size of it is, it's going to adjust the size to 32 pixels width. And let's say I want to, upon hovering over this, I want to change the styling to show that this is highlighted. So we need to use something like hover effect there. So let's use that. So fields image on hover. It's changed the opacity. Opacity is a property for transparency. Opacity means opaqueness. So half of the opacity means that it's half transparent. So let's go to this, and if you see, it's transparent. It's becoming transparent. With opacity, we can do animations also. And that's it. The same thing. Even if you change the height, it will automatically adjust the width. So one property with the other, it will auto adjust. So width and height, basically this means based on the aspect ratio of the image, the size of it will reduce to width 32. And if the height is same as width, it will change the height also to 32.
Yes.
So that is explicitly we can actually mention both width and height to 32. That will work. If I give 132, it will squeeze or expand the image like this. So basically, if we don't give, it will sustain the aspect ratio. So footer we have defined. Let's see. Let's put this footer some more elements. Let's display links like this. Just side by side. And I want to justify content with space between. So if you see now, this is aligned, but the margin is a little bit away. We change the margin or padding. The margin, it's not the margin, it's a padding. So top and bottom will do 0, and left and right will do 20 pixels. This is now aligned properly. The only problem is this one has to go to the bottom. But that, let's do something. And let's change this entire viewport into a flex box. So this is there and this is there. This is one element here. If you see here, this entire body has division and footer. These two elements are actually two children of home. If we make home as flex box and flex direction as column, this thing and this thing can be made as one after the other. So the background, I'm going to, let's try changing the body to flex box. Not the body, it's the home. This home class. So this thing I'm going to change the display to flex. And by default, flex direction is row. We have to change the direction column to stack one on top of it. Flex direction column. The body elements are now aligned one after the other, but I want to give the gap between this and this. So we have to make sure that justify content space between there. So it evenly spaces this content, this body division content and the fixed content like this. And if this background is extending till here, that's okay. If we don't want that, we can actually change this background to only apply for this content wrapper instead of for the entire home page. Let's try doing this maybe for the content wrapper. It's just an experiment. See, this doesn't look good. And this content wrapper, if I have to make it good with 100%, height 100%, this looks fine. But if I want to expand till this, I have to make sure that this is 100 VH, width. So basically, there is a measure called view width and view height. I think we defined max sizing for content wrapper, max width for content wrapper. That's why it's, yeah, we don't specify this, it will expand till the end of this. Okay. This doesn't look good. This has to be aligned to the center. Let's not go with that. Let's keep it 900 pixels and put this background back into the body. And just uncomment this. This looks nice. And there is still some comments we will share too. Let's do that with another page. Let's put the link to another page here. In this background, I don't think I like this background. Let's try changing the background. Let's do something like dark. Looks nice. This looks better. Okay, now I'm going to put my one more link here in the body to go to another page. Let's say I'll put my SMA. Okay. This is my the link. This is this. I'm going to make it as a link. This link text. I should change the color because I changed the background. This color doesn't fit. I've defined the colors. I'm having to make color links in the page. So I have this time I want to give colors and color links. Color to give. So on hover, I'm going to change the color to PCA96. This one I noted down colors. These colors. This is the brighter colors. this text decoration, which is this underline, I want to remove. Text decoration, non-professional, it won't be there. My highlight, that gets removed. But same colors I can apply to put it also. That is, and this is fine. Total resume page, which is not available. Let's create this resume.html. If time to generate HTML like this. Let's create actually like resume, first name, first name. Or designation, finish. And it doesn't have any content right now, that's why it's empty. Let's add content. And the same styling we are going to use, style.css and all that should be included. So this time body class name I'm going to use as resume. So we can change the background color, not background tones. We have one header added to this. Just like the previous one, we will have a header and a section. Header, and then a main section, and then just like the previous one, we will have h1 your name here, h2 this name. I'm going to have sections. One section for heading of the resume, and one section for the projects I have done, and one section for work experience and so on. Let's have three sections. It's just segregating sections into different areas. This is going to be resume section. So this is my profile basic information. The background is looking bad. Let's change the color just in here. So we change the command. This is resume CSS. Let's create a color palette before we can actually set up brand colors for us to use. This is our color palette. So the ones that we are going to use is dark green, which we already used, which is 3C845. There is another color called sandy beige, which is PC8896. You can actually choose these color palettes with tools like colors dot. If you go to websites like this, you can actually generate these palettes and use them. So you can basically choose these colors. Basically, if you want to change next, if you press space bar, it will change. These color palettes are complementary colors we can use. So if I want to keep this color, I can actually lock this, create more variants of this. I want to keep this. These two will be locked, and when I press space bar, it will change the other things. You can actually choose these colors and make them as your palette. So this is an important tool. With this, we can have dark gray. I have another color called blue. Looks like gray, which is D3, D4, D6, which we already did other places. Of white, which is F6, F6, F6. So these palettes, we will use this color palette. In this color, I am going to change. Background, I'll change for this. This white can stay because the background is not there. White in the white is not listing properly, showing properly. I'll change the background for this fishing section. So I want to make sure that this is before the header. Background URL, I'll change the same URL for now. Which we used for we change this background later. So basically, I don't want this entire thing to cover the with entire width. I'll just make sure that this is just for the header and at the top. So before this header, I want to add this background. To this background, I'm going to use it only before the header. There is sudo class called before, which will give us. I'll put the height and then it will be easier to understand. Content I have to specify. Display as below. To the effect of this, I can put and the cover also background size as coverage. So if you see here, this effect I achieved with pseudo class, pseudo element, before element. So this pseudo element helps us put some content before this. Any element before this, and any of the elements, we can put some content before this. That's the before pseudo element. So if I say after here, it puts it after the header element. The only constraint is you have to put some content in the pseudo element. If you don't put a content, it won't have any impact. So this content, if it is there, we can define these properties. If I don't give height, it doesn't occupy any space. So these are pseudo elements. We can put the icons you see in the website. Icons and all need not be statically put in the HTML, but it can be put in the CSS like this, pseudo elements. So before this header, I'm adding this. And for this, I'm going to change color in a bit. So this is header section. I'm going to use content wrapper for this. Inside this, I will use division. The class name as content wrapper. With this content wrapper, I can have style. So now I'm going to give background as black. With this, we'll change that in a bit. Let's go back to HTML. So what else we need to add? This profile section, all this styling we need to add. Let's do one thing. So why don't you start updating this template? Tomorrow we'll see some more improvements on top of this.